This week on the Analog Circle podcast, we get some fantastic news if you're looking forward to Star Wars Outlaws like myself. I can't wait to discuss this story. Knights of the Old Republic Remake is still in development, but PlayStation wants nothing to do with it. Allegedly, did they just kick them out of the ride? We had to find out. We get some very telling performance information about Hellblade 2. A lot of people are split over the decision, but we will discuss. And we find out when Xbox will be having their summer showcase. We also will be going over emails sent in by Crimson Phoenix and Cody Clark. But all of these stories can be found here and a lot more in episode 204 of the Analog Circle podcast. I am your host, Kiaun Mitchell, and welcome to the show. Welcome. It is always a privilege and a pleasure to have you guys here. Now, as I discussed just a couple of seconds ago, we will be going over two different emails. Now, if you do want to be a part of that conversation, you can do it two different ways. You can either call in, and the phone number is 443-380-0281 and let your voice literally be heard. Or you can email the show, and the email address is simply the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. So without further ado, guys, I believe it is time to get into what we all come here for, and that is the gaming news that went down. Let's go ahead and get things started with the story that I got from PlayStation Lifestyle. So, even though the PlayStation 5 Pro has not been announced by Sony, it hasn't stopped new information from coming out about the console. And some of the latest news is coming from insider Tom Henderson, who says that games will receive a enhanced label that are enhanced for the PlayStation 5 Pro. Now, Sony will allegedly mandate developers who want to earn the enhanced label to offer a, quote, PS5 Pro exclusive graphics mode. Henderson claims that this mode will utilize PlayStation's spectral super resolution to upscale resolution to 4K, offer a consistent 60 frames per second frame rate, and either add or increase existing ray tracing effects. So it looks like with this PlayStation 5 Pro situation, again, Sony has not announced this yet, but according to Tom Henderson, anybody that wants this label, you have to actually put some work in to get this enhanced label for the PlayStation 5 Pro, which is fantastic for people that spend their hard-earned money on this console to know that you're going to get that resolution at 4K. You're going to get a consistent 60 frames per second rate, and you're going to get an increase, or at least an added increase in ray tracing effects. This is fantastic. I'm actually very, very happy about this. And plus, this will let people know exactly what they're getting from the door. It won't be anything of the sorts of, I have to go into the menu to see if I can get this 60 frames per second consistently, or if I'm going to be able to get this ray tracing. No, with this label being put on the box, and I understand that physical media is taking a heavy decline. So I understand that it may not be as prevalent on as many boxes, but just the fact that to get that enhanced label, to see that, even if it's digital, once you see that enhanced label, you know exactly what you are purchasing without having to wonder if you're going to get that consistent 60 frames per second. Matter of fact, speaking of 60 frames per second. God, dog, I got to talk about this. I played Stellar Blades demo, and God, dog. Whoa. Oh, they got a winner right there, brother. Oh, yeah. Yeah. They got a winner. I'm going to tell you that. Now, one thing I will say, as I was playing through the game, man, that frame rate, woo, it was pretty smooth. We're going to get into some other games not having so much of a smooth frames per second rate, but I digress. We're going to get there. But for Stellar Blade, I will say now granted, now we got to be fair here. It does not hold a consistent 60 frames per second at all times. I believe in 4K resolution. You don't get that. But the thing is that you have the option to give it the 60 frames per second, take away maybe the resolution or things of that nature. You have the option. And even though it's not constantly running at 60 frames per second, it's hitting around like the 55-ish to 53-ish mark, somewhere around there. Go and check out Digital Foundry. They had a fantastic breakdown of the game and the performance of it, but I enjoyed it. The gameplay was really dope. I had a little bit of a problem with that parrying system. That parry window is very, very small. I mean, I'm up there fighting these bosses. Man, them bosses, I ain't gonna lie to you, them bosses a little tough. Bosses had me on skates. I couldn't get my bearings, couldn't get my footing. Man, it was tearing me up. So I'm gonna tell you something. Even though it is not a Souls-like game, you can definitely tell that it is Souls inspired, because I believe somebody said it's more so somewhat on the lines of Sekiro, somewhere around there, somewhere in that kind of range of difficulty. But I'm gonna tell you something, man. I can see myself being I'm gonna get frustrated, man. Those bosses, God dog, it was just two of them in the demo to fight, but man, they had me a little. Yeah, I was getting beat up. I was getting beat the heck down on that difficulty. But the thing was, man, it's still really a great game. It's really great. I'm buying that on day one. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I'm gonna play it on day one, but I will be picking it up. Shift Up, for this to be their first outing, their first game out the gate. Man, I mean, just based off of the demo, God, dog, they have done their thing, man. From the gameplay, the story, it starts out extremely interesting. You are fighting, I don't want to ruin it for people that may not have played the demo already, but it was one thing that really, really stood out to me with the game, and this usually is not the case. I gotta tell you, the music in this game, man, you get to these rest areas, and brothers, I'm gonna tell you, man, matter of fact, I gotta pull up this track, man. This track had me like in a gaze, brother. Hold on. Man, this track right here, man, I listened to this. This game had me just like, wow. Listen to this track real quick. This thing off. Man, that Joker had me in a daze. I said, who the heck is this producer? Man, this Joker has some live music. I said, God, dog, it is very rare that I play a game and the music really sticks out. It's like a standout to me. That was something that really took me by storm. Like I was telling you guys, you get these rest area points where you get to in the game, where you get to replenish all of your health, and you get to sit around in these little camps that you can make. And it's this record player there has 3 different tracks. The other 2 tracks were cool, but that one track right there, which is track number 1, really had me going. I said, God, dog, this game is really, really good. The story seems very interesting. Graphically, again, golly, game was really hitting on all cylinders, man. I'm very, very excited about this. I'm looking forward to being able to play the full version of the game. Again, if you played the demo, that progress that you made inside of the demo will carry over into the full retail game, which is also awesome. So I don't have to play the intro all over again, even though that intro, looking at those graphics, God, dog, with the person that pulls you out of the pod. Oh, man. Yeah, it was serious. I definitely enjoyed my time with Stellar Blade. It's a game that I'm so glad it did not let me down. Again, that difficulty curve, though, that curve on that difficulty, I know it's going to be serious because I was struggling. I was low key I was struggling a little bit on that second boss. That second boss really was giving me a lot of problems. So with all of that being said, though, I mean, shout out to Shift Up for, their first rookie outing on a AAA budget. Having such great feedback, not only from Digital Foundry, but other people, different podcasts that I listen to. They've had positive feedback about the game as well. I thought it was really, really great for what they, showed off so far. And, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to playing the whole game, when it releases. But it's another thing I meant to talk to you guys about. I actually have the Pulse Elite headset, the PlayStation Pulse Elite headphones. And I was playing that. Well, I wasn't playing, but I was using those while I was playing Stellar Blade. Golly, the sound quality of the headset is really, really nice. Now, I'm not going to go out here and make a huge production about how amazing the sound is. The sound sounds really good. It does. I've had multiple headsets, Turtle Beach headsets for the most part. I've never really ventured off into any other headsets outside of Turtle Beach. But the thing that really stood out to me about these Pulse Elites, outside of the how would I say? Yeah, the sound of them was the comfortability. I have never had a headset that I was so comfortable in for hours at a time. I mean, it's so doggone comfortable. The cushions on the headphones are very thick. They're very soft, and it just feels good. The one thing that PlayStation did with this headset as well is it doesn't really cup over your head like a regular headset. It has the arching, I don't know what you would call it, the arching band of the headset. It does have that, going from left to right all the way up, over the top of your head. But they also have like this sub band that's there where it's like your head is not hitting the top of the headset. It's kind of hard for me to explain it. I would have to show you. But just go on YouTube. You can check it out for yourself. You'll see it's a sub headband. And that thing, it actually stretches to like the size of your head. So when you put the headset on, it doesn't like weigh down your ears. I mean, I don't know if you guys have suffered from this, but after a while, when I have, different headsets on, or I've had different headsets on, and again, they were just Turtle Beaches. I never ventured outside of Turtle Beach. It's not a knock towards them. I'm still a fan of their headset, but being honest with you guys, it was times where I would have the headset on so long, where it would start hurting the back of my ears, where it would start I would be really feeling some pain back there, and I would have to take them off. Sometimes my ears would start getting a little sweaty, because of the material of the cloth on the headset. But I can say, and granted, I'm not going to say I sat up there for like 4 or 5 hours playing a game, at once with the PlayStation Pulse Elite headset. But I will say that the time that I spent, it had to be at least 2 hours, because I want to be as realistic as possible with you guys with the time I spent with them, fully through. I would say realistically, it was 2 hours, maybe 2.5. I didn't feel them. I did not feel them. The comfortable or comfortability level of that headset to me is the best part of the headset. I mean, the sound is the sound. It's great sound, but I'm not a person that's really big on sound, or a person that really takes, tweeters inside of the, speakers and things of that nature very seriously. If it sounds good, it sounds good, but I'm not one of these people that are like meticulous when it comes to the sound. So for me, the sound was really great. I enjoyed it. The bass, it thumped. It had a real nice thump to it. But for me, the selling point of the Pulse Elites that I would tell somebody is, if you have a spouse, if you have children, and you play in a certain area where maybe you're sharing the area with your spouse and you don't want to wake up the house or wake up your significant other, but you want great sound and you want some headphones that are going to be very comfortable, where you'll be able to game for hours at a time and not really start to feel that pain, or your ears start profusely sweating, while you're playing, I would definitely recommend the Pulse Elite headphones for sure. They're $150, so they're not really going to break the bank. Now, granted, everybody's threshold to how much money they're going to spend, it varies. So if $150 is reasonable for you to feel like, that's what you want to spend, then I would highly recommend that, to you guys. I mean, shout out to Mrs. Mitchell for, getting me the headphone set for our anniversary. So I got to shout her out. Man, she bought that for me. I was shocked. It's completely blown away. Shout out to her. It was definitely a surprise, and I greatly appreciated it. But let's go ahead while we're moving along, and let's get into our first email, which is coming from Mr. Cody Clark, the OG of the show. This brother been rocking with me for many years. Shout out to you, brother. So the title of his email, oh man, Cody, you did this to me again, brother. You just sent me another lengthy email. Yeah, dog, man. Here we go. The title of this good brother's email is, okay, this one is kind of long. A major unnamed developer, huh? I smell weak old fish sticks. Oh, he's calling out. All right. Now, this is in reference to the last episode we did. I believe I recorded it on a Wednesday last week, I believe. So we didn't do Sunday because I wasn't able to. But I had said during that podcast that somebody, I forgot his name, he was at the Game Developers Conference, and he talked to different developers, and they said they were getting tired. Well, not tired, but two different developers, they showed a little bit of remorse for basically supporting the Xbox brand. One developer even saying he doesn't even know why they supported the brand, because I guess their game did not sell as well as they hoped. So this is what Cody Clark is actually referring to when he talks about he smells weak old fish sticks. So here we go. Let's get into this long email. Man, Cody, you are lucky. I really rock with you, brother, because this is forever. But he says, lose third-party support? I don't know. Are first-party titles the only ones on Game Pass? All right, I'm going to stop that. Now, I'm going to tell y'all right now. It seems like this episode is going to be a little lengthy, okay? So just strap in, we're going to have a good time with it. Now, Cody, you are right. Talking about Game Pass, they have third-party support throughout there. They got EA, they got Ubisoft, they even had Take-Two. They got Take-Two in there with Red Dead Redemption or 2K24, whatever you may call it, they have several major third-party supporters inside of Game Pass. You're absolutely right about that. But let me continue with your email. He says, I want to know which batch of game journalists is pissing in a cup, holding it up, and claiming the well is poison. God, dog. He says they can't even tell us what major developer is sick of dealing with Xbox. Now, wait a minute, Cody. Now, hold on, brother. God, dog. Now, to be fair, my good brother, to be fair, this is the thing I understand. You said, man, who's saying that, the water is tainted out here? I understand it. But, Cody, realistically, my brother, thinking about it from a realistic standpoint, how many people are going to give up their source? How many people are going to tell you, man, it was take doggone two. They said they tired of Xbox. They don't want nothing more to do with them. Or it was EA. EA is tired of Madden not selling 4 and 5, 10 million copies on the console. I don't think that people are just going to give up their sources like that, Cody. I mean, that's how people are able to keep the sources that they have. They can't out them. They can't out the developer, the publisher, or whoever it is. I don't think that'd be good for their business, Cody. But I do understand that it would be more believable if they had a source to go with, these claims that they are saying. So I get that, Cody. But again, I just think that these guys aren't going to tell you who told them what. Then they ruin it for themselves when it comes to Xbox and Microsoft business, even though, realistically, if it's to be believed, they are already feeling the pinch of things not going as well as they wished it would over on the Xbox/Microsoft brand. But I digress. Let's continue with your email. He says, 2, I thought the console war was all about first party titles. Oh, this brother right here, God dog. I see you, Cody. I see you, brother. Golly, you kind of threw that nice little right hook on me with that one. God dog, I'm sweating a little bit with that one. The thing is, Cody, what I would say to that, brother, is it is definitely about first part. Now, hold on, Cody. Now, hold on, brother. Now we all know, Cody, just being realistic. This is not a dig to Xbox. This is just me looking at it for what it is. We know that under Phil Spencer, my brother, we just saw some first party games come out last year. One of those being Redfall. And we know Redfall did not set the world on fire. We know that game didn't. That wasn't it. Now Starfield, that did release. Mixed reviews, mixed opinions about that game, but their first party, they haven't really been on track with that too great either. Cody, just to be fair, brother. Now again, everything is subject to whoever all of us are different. All of us are our own individuals, and we will look at things a little differently. For someone, Starfield could have been the game of the generation. For somebody else, it could have been a bust. But yeah, most of the time, the thing is, people do look at first party, as far as the console war goes. But then again, can we really say that though, Cody? I don't think we can say that. I think it always just comes down to exclusives, because for years, we saw that PlayStation, and they're still doing it today. They go out there, they get these exclusives, maybe not first party, but you can only play it on that console, on their console. We've seen them do it this year with Final Fantasy. God, dog, I keep on forgetting the name of the doggone part 2. Final Fantasy, not Remake. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I can't think of the name of it right now, but they did it with that. They're doing it with Stellar Blade as well. So they're making sure that while their first party is cooking, and they have been a little slow. I can't even say they've been slow though, Cody. They've been releasing games. I don't know where people come off acting like PlayStation hasn't released games and this is such a bad year for them. But I digress on that. They're continuing to get these games that you can only play on their platform. Helldivers is another one. You can only play on their platform. So even from a first party standpoint, Xbox has been failing, my good brother. But I digress on that one. Now, the third point he says is, oh, wait, it was, what was it, exclusives? No, well, I just talked about that, brother. Golly, I need to stop jumping the gun on your email, brother. Pardon me for that. But now you said the fourth. Now I'm just running down all of the numbers the good brother Cody Clark has put down here. It says fourth. It's third party titles now. Oh man, Cody, that's the thing, brother. I'm telling you, man. I don't think that is a stretch. Back during the Xbox 360 era, what made the 360 era so great was the third-party support. Getting games like Fight Night, come on, brother. You remember Fight Night when it came to the Xbox 360 after. I mean, that was like one of the biggest smacks in the face, too, because we saw Fight Night premiere on the PlayStation 3 during E3. But when the 360 came out a year earlier than the PlayStation 3, we got that same game on the 360. It was incredible to get that game, to get Dead Rising, to be able to get Planet, what was it? Golly, it was a Capcom game, something Planet. I'm forgetting the name of it, but you were in the cold. It was freezing cold out that joint. It was something Planet, Lost Planet. That was another exclusive, third-party exclusive. Then you had games, the real big hitters like BioShock and Mass Effect. Those games right there, that made that generation amazing. So I think it's a combination of first party and third party. To me, it's what I said just a couple of minutes ago was it's the exclusives. To me, it doesn't matter if it's developed by third party or first party, as long as it is exclusive to your console and it doesn't go over to the other console 2 months later, 3 months later, 6 months later, a year. Okay, that's fine. And that's where I think Xbox had messed up. Some of these games were going over to the competition in like 3 months, 6 months. So I think they needed to widen that window. But again, I'm going to get back to your email, though, Cody. This is a really, really good one, brother. Let me continue. He says, in 6 months, the Xbox is too square and not Art Deco enough. Devs are tired of right angles and don't want to deal with Xbox any longer. I'm going to keep reading, brother. He says EA and Ubisoft work hand in hand with Microsoft, not third party. Again, they are third party. Like you said earlier in your email, Cody, right at the top of your email, talking about Game Pass. You're absolutely right. These guys are working with Microsoft for right now. They are definitely working with them. But let's continue on. You said, wait, Xbox literally had a third-party game reveal at the start of this month. Oh, yeah, you're talking about Square Enix. Yeah, well, hold on. Was that, let me see, reveal at the start. Are you talking about this month? Get the world out of here, Cody. What game was that, Cody? I was about to go back to the January show when they talked about, what was it? The Square Enix game, Mana, something of Mana. I thought you were talking about that. Yeah, you got to get back to me with that one, Cody. He says, Epic, Nintendo, and Xbox basically pulled Sony by the nose to force them to accept X-platform games. More platforms, more players, more sales for everyone. Wasn't it a few years ago all people said was all Xbox has is third party, not first party? I'm confused. That's the thing, Cody. You gotta have both. You're right. You are absolutely right. Man, hold on, Cody. Wait. I don't know if you're 100% right here, good brother. They went away from a lot of third-party deals last generation. That was one thing that people really got on them about. Like, man, where's the Call of Duty? Where's the exclusive DLC? Remember, Phil Spencer's stance is exclusives do nothing for the industry. Nobody wins with exclusives. So you have Phil Spencer out here saying this stuff. Now, granted, they got Bright Memory. That was an exclusive for a couple of months during the Xbox Series X and S. Well, this generation, they had the game that's coming out, golly, I'm forgetting Stalker. Stalker is coming out as well. That's a timed exclusive. Ori and the Will of the Wisp and the Blind Forest, that was timed exclusive. Went to Switch, but it didn't go to PlayStation. I give them kudos for that. A lot of credit for that. Cuphead as well. I think, well, that did show up on PlayStation, but that was a timed exclusive. But the thing is, though, Cody, you gotta have both, brother. You have to have both. When you know that your first party is not clicking on all cylinders, they're not doing, putting you in the best position possible to keep things running, to keep things going, you need that third party support. But I just think the fact of the matter was last generation, Phil Spencer wasn't getting the big names for third party support. He might have got a few here and there. We're still waiting on Stalker 2. Now, granted, whoa. Let me tread carefully with that one. Whoa, wait a minute. Apologies if that came off, pretty messed up. That wasn't the intent. I got a little caught up, but that's understandable. Why Stalker 2 actually has been delayed. It's been extremely tragic what has happened over in that region of the world. And my heart goes out to them. I apologize for that. Got a little too excited there, Cody, but outside of Stalker 2, we're also waiting on several other games that were supposed to be exclusives that never showed up. They were just talking about, what is it, Shadow Song or something like that? Those games that Sarah Bond talked about were going to be released in a year. We're still waiting on some of those. So when you have those kind of things going on with your platform and you're not getting these big exclusives that people want to see on the platform, third party wise, to really help you get through the development woes that your first party is going through. I mean, look at PlayStation, Cody. Look at what they're doing, my brother. They have Final Fantasy. I'm going to have to call it 2 because I keep on forgetting the name of the doggone, the game. Final Fantasy 7 Part 2. They have that, which is a huge game, and Stellar Blade. And they have Helldivers again. 3 big games. Kind of, some people may say they're not, but, depending on who you are, possibly 3 big games that have released that are not from first party. So they're continuously feeding their fan base, games that they want to play. And I think that's where, Xbox has gone a little left in their strategy, to that point, which has made it so people are not picking up the console like they were. But I digress, Cody. Let me get to your next paragraph here, my brother. He says, please, for the love of the bestest boy and girl dogos, somebody explain this to me. I did my best to explain it, my good brother Cody. It's one thing I know about Cody. If he disagrees, his brother will right back in it. That's what I appreciate about him. Let me continue. He says, and it better be more substantial than one dude heard this from his mom's hamster at the Red Roof Inn in New Jersey City. That's a quote, major developer, end of quote, got so mad that they let a dude or a dodo quote them saying Xbox was super serial to them that one time. He says, receipts, please. Again, Cody, look, check this out, brother. And I'm going to get to your last part of your email in just a second. But if you go back and you look at just the numbers, Cody, of the Series X and S era versus the Xbox One era, it's a clear picture that the Xbox One, which again was their worst console generation, has done better than the Xbox Series X and S. They sold more during the Xbox One era, which was abysmal to a certain degree. And yet they're not getting the support over in Europe. Numbers are down 40 and 50%. People just don't want the console. So when that becomes the case, now I'm not going to say people, well, yeah, the people have spoken. They just not rocking with Xbox right now. You know, when you look at the numbers, I mean, they're not getting as badly slaughtered as, you know, some people may think. I think they're still getting outsold 2-1. It's not quite 3-1, but they're still getting outsold 2-1, and they're selling less than they did last generation. So when I'm just thinking of it from a business standpoint, when these developers see this and they look at it and they see the numbers, because we all know this, Cody, these big corporations, all they want to do is look at the numbers. Nothing really matters outside of that. So if they're looking and the numbers have declined, that they haven't increased, they're seeing that their games are selling more on PlayStation and PC versus Xbox, I think that only logically some of these guys are going to say, well, you know, the juice isn't worth the squeeze with Xbox. So I think I'm going to take my talents over to PlayStation. And even Phil Spencer, and I think I mentioned this the last time that I recorded, but even Phil Spencer said he was finding it difficult to get different deals, you know, from these third parties to actually come over to their platform, how they wanted to have him spend so much more than what they were asking PlayStation or Nintendo to spend. And that has to do, he didn't say this, but I'm just guessing it has to do with the popularity of the Xbox versus the PlayStation and how many Xboxes have been sold thus far. So I'm just looking at it from that standpoint, my good brother. But I'm gonna wrap up your email. You say, you say also the Key Bridge disaster. The Key Bridge disaster in B-More was super scary. Hope you don't need to go anywhere near it. Love and long breath. Cody. Shout out to you, Cody, brother. I appreciate you, brother. I really, really do, man. I do. And thank you for the email. Hopefully I covered everything, Cody. I hope so. But if I didn't, you know how to get in contact with me, good brother. This was a fantastic email, and I always appreciate it when you guys write in. I truly, truly, truly do. But we got to go ahead and we got to move along and we got to get into the next story. And by the way, Cody, don't make it your last time, good brother. But let's go ahead and move into a story that I got from Engadget. So in Ubisoft news, Ubisoft has announced via Twitter when their next major showcase will take place. They said, quote, "It's back. Join us live from Los Angeles for #UBForward on June 10th for updates and upcoming releases." End of quote. Now, I am really excited about this. Now, normally, I hear about a Ubisoft show. I'm like, that might be all right. That might be pretty cool, maybe. But after last year's show, God, dog, I think arguably outside of Xbox, and I mean even, I don't know, they might have been on even ground. That Ubisoft or UBForward last year was very, very well done. So this year, you know, it's been some rumors out there that have been talking about Splinter Cell Remake possibly being at this show. We might get updates on that. Then you got Assassin's Creed Red also being possibly at the show as well, getting some updates just on those two games alone. More so for me, Splinter Cell Remake, golly, it really, really gets me excited about what is going to happen at this show. I mean, this is good for me. This is really, really good. I'm excited. Again, last year, it went way past my expectations with the games that were shown, the budgets. I mean, these were some blockbuster titles. At least they look like it, even from Prince of Persia. Maybe we even get an update for Prince of Persia Sands of Time, the remake of that. Maybe that even makes an appearance at the show. So for me, on June 10th, I'm very, very excited about this. We'll have to see, though, what they show. But yeah, when the time comes, we will be going over it. But let's go ahead and let's get into the next story that I got from WCCF Tech. Now, one of Xbox's most anticipated games for this year is no doubt Hellblade 2. And we got new information about the game coming from the game's VFX director, Mark Slater, who sat down with German publication GamePro. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I didn't even know GamePro was still around. I mean, that's one of the OOG gaming magazines from way back in the 90s. So shout out to GamePro for still being around. Even a German publication. God darn. Now, he actually sat down with them to confirm that the game will run at 30 frames per second with dynamic resolution scaling on Series X and S. Now, if you forgot, the game is launching very, very soon. It's launching on May 21st. Now, on top of that news, more news has happened over at Ninja Theory. Maybe not, some may look at it as bad news, actually. But Ninja Theory co-founder and Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice writer and director, Atim, now I'm going to butcher this brother's last name, Antonides, is spelled Antoniades, Antonides. I don't know. I apologize for butchering your name, good brother. But he has left the company. Now, this was later confirmed by a Xbox spokesperson to Polygon that he is no longer with the studio. So we got to discuss this, man. Oh, shucks. Where do I begin? First off, for any of you guys that have been listening to the podcast for any amount of time, any years or however long, you guys know that I hold Ninja Theory in the highest regard. To me, Ninja Theory is a top tier developer. I have said it on the podcast time and time again. Ninja Theory has never made a game that I have not enjoyed. Ever since Heavenly Sword, they have not made one game that I sat back and I said, dag, they really dropped the ball. They fell off. That has never been my review or my thoughts of the company. But I will say, oh, shucks, these guys right here, they are like, to me, now I'm not saying they're better. I'm not saying that they're more talented or anything like that. But in my opinion, Ninja Theory is the equivalent of Naughty Dog for Xbox. This is like the cinematic storytelling studio that you want to have in place to tell one of those amazing stories and have the graphics to go along with it. And God, dog, when I saw this newer footage of this game, oh, shucks. I said, wow, this looks incredible. This is amazing work. Ninja Theory, you have done it. You have done it. It wasn't until now I know some of y'all are gonna not want to hear this, but it wasn't until the 30 frames was mentioned. Okay, I got past that. I mean, shout out to AB. We had a conversation and he kind of got me to get a little past that. Okay, 30 frames per second. The graphics are crazy. It's nuts. It's wild. It looks amazing. So many people are saying this is the first game to show off what this generation is truly able to do. I'm like, okay, fine. You got it. It's Unreal Engine 5. God darn it. Unreal Engine 5. I'm going to cut that off real quick, though. But the thing is, I said, okay, that's fine. But then I started piecing things together. When Ninja Theory said that it's going to be only one enemy on the screen at a time, I said, whoa. Wait a minute. One enemy on the screen at a time that you're going to fight? You only got to fight one enemy on the screen at a time. I said, now hold on. Now this seems a little off to me. How can it be that if you're fighting one enemy on the screen at a time, why is it at 30 frames per second? Why? Then the other thing that I had to sit there and wonder about is this game has been in development for like close to 6, maybe 7. I ain't going to give it 7 years. I might be going way too off kilter, but around like 6 years. Matter of fact, don't even believe me. I didn't do this, but I want to see for myself. Let's see, man, if we can find out when this game actually started production. Let's see. When did production for Hellblade 2 begin? Let's see. It doesn't even say. It doesn't even say when it started. Okay, it refers back to... Nah, it doesn't even give me a date. It's just telling me when it releases, which is May 21st. So I don't know when it actually officially started, but we know that they did pick up Ninja Theory. Let's see. When did Microsoft acquire Ninja Theory?
According to Game World Observer, in 2018, Ninja Theory was acquired by Microsoft for, as revealed in last year's FTC filings, $117 million. Senua's Saga. Hellblade 2 will be the studio's second game released as part of Xbox Game Studios, following the now discontinued MOBA shooter Bleeding Edge.
All right, so they picked them up back in 2018. So let's say, okay, they picked them up in 18, 6 years later, here's Hellblade 2. Okay, got it. So let's even say 5 years. They worked on this game, and this is the result. To me, I can't get past that one enemy on the screen at a time. It's still going to be the same looking puzzles. They said it's still going to be the same game over again, and I get it. What else would I possibly want? I mean, it's the formula of the game. It was the first game's formula. You usually follow that first game's formula into the second game and you make it better. And I guess that's what I was looking for. I was looking for the game to show some improvements, not just graphically. Graphically, it is very important to me that I see a game that is really showing off what the console can do. I need that. But then when you have this kind of development for this long, and this is the product that you get, it's 8 to 10 hours long. It's 8 to 10 hours. And you tell me that it's running at 30 frames per second. It's been in development for close to 6 years. It's one character on the screen at a time. I'm like, golly, I just can't. I can't. Listen, I understand that Unreal Engine is a beast. I understand it. Unreal Engine 5, it's a monster. People are finally talking about Immortals of Avium. Finally, a game that I really want to get the flowers that it deserves because I think it's a great game. It's done in Unreal Engine 5. People talked about that when you put that game in performance mode, it drops it down to like it's struggling to do 40 frames per second or 45 frames, and that's a first-person shooter. So I get it, but you have multiple enemies on the screen at once, though. It's multiple enemies you're fighting against. It's not like with what's it called? Senua's Saga, where you're fighting in these different places and it's one enemy on the screen at a time, running at 30 frames. I'ma tell you, you know who I blame? I don't blame Ninja Theory. I don't blame Phil I kind of blame him a little bit for what he has done to put them in this situation, but I blame the Xbox Series S for this. I blame it because it has to be on par with the Series X. What is the point of the Series X if you can't let that thing shine like it can? Shine bright like a doggone sunshiny day out here, but instead it's being held back by the Series S. Yeah, I don't blame Ninja Theory for this. They gotta make this game run on a Series S. It's like 100-year-old doggone hardware at this point in time. If they just had to make this game for the Series X, I can almost believe, at least, yeah, I can believe they could have probably got 60 frames or at least close to that target per second if it wasn't for the Series S holding back the greatness of what the Series X is capable of doing. Of course, nobody is going to come out and say that. They can't. It's part of the contract. If it runs on the X, it has to run on the S. They need parity. It's craziness. So for that reason alone, yes, I am excited about this game. I've been waiting on it. Senua's Saga, it looks amazing. First game to show off what this generation is really capable of doing. I'm happy to see it. I am truly happy to see it. Granted, the game is $50. I ain't giving them credit for it. I mean, it's an 8 to 10 hour game. It's $50. That's fine. I mean, might be being a little too hard on the game, but I'm sorry. I get tired of this. The Xbox, why is it that PlayStation gives you the option, even with Stellar Blade, you have the option to pick and make it what you want to make it. They don't even give you the option to do this on the Xbox. And I'm just sitting there saying, why? Why not? And I get some people are going to say, well, you can upscale it, upstream it, or, man, whatever you're talking about. I get it, but it's obviously a problem here. And I believe the problem starts with the Series S. Because if that S wasn't there, I'm telling you, I believe the X would be on another level right now. 12 teraflops. God darn. I'm excited for the game. I'm happy to see that some people are even saying this could be up for Game of the Year for Xbox. This might be one of those ones. They might get an award off of this. And I want that for Ninja Theory. Ninja Theory, to me, is an amazing studio. I'm really excited about this game. I can't wait to play it. I can't wait to see what it's about. Because I'll be lying to y'all if I said, even though it's running at 30 frames per second, am I going to play it? I mean, more than likely, I'm probably going to pick it up. But I just wish that they would give you the option on the Xbox to be able to say, look, okay, I don't want to run it at 30 frames. Let me just run it at an uncapped frame rate. Give me the option like I have on PlayStation to be able to do this. That's all. I'm just trying to figure that out. Why won't they just give you the option? People can say, and this is the thing that burns me up about some people, that they'll say, well, it's running at 30 frames per second. Who cares? Who cares if it's running at 30 frames per second? Mother lover, I care. I get tired of people having this nonchalant attitude towards things that happen on Xbox. That's why Xbox is where it is right now. People just take whatever they give them. It's 30 frames. Okay, no problem. It's no options to change the frame rate, the resolution, or anything like that. Okay, no problem. I understand. It was what you wanted. It's like, no, ask for better. Ask for more. But these jokers just sit there and say, I don't care. Who cares? 30 frames per second is awesome. It looks great. Man, get the frick out of here. You need to do better, man. Ask for more. Over on PlayStation, they're giving you options. You got doggone Horizon Forbidden West. That game, god darn, I want to see something for myself. When did development for Horizon Forbidden West begin?
2018. According to Wikipedia, Guerrilla Games began developing Horizon Forbidden West in 2018, a year after its predecessor Horizon Zero Dawn was released. It was published by Sony Interactive Entertainment for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5.
God darn. So in the same length of time, maybe less, possibly a month or two less, they made Horizon Forbidden West. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the game. I've talked about it a billion times. The game is drop dead gorgeous, and it's an open world game. And they did that in 5 years. The same length of time that it took for Ninja Theory to make doggone Senua's Saga. And look at the two. I mean, now don't get me wrong. Now I ain't gonna sit up here and lie. Senua's Saga looks amazing. It looks absolutely incredible. Am I gonna say that it looks better than Horizon Forbidden West? All right, maybe I'll give you that. Maybe so. It might have it by a notch or two. It definitely kind of skirts it out a little bit. But my point is, that's an open world game, man. Open world game. I don't know if the game is running at 60, to be fair. Let's see. Does Horizon Forbidden West run at 60 frames per second?
According to Polygon, the Favor performance mode runs in 1800p resolution with checkerboard rendering, targeting 60 FPS.
There you go. Well, you still got an option to make it 60 frames per second. And that's the thing. Xbox talks about all of these options. God darn, this is going to be a long show. They talk about all of these different options that they have. You can play over on your tablet, play on your Xbox, play on your TV. They give you all these options on where to play, but they don't give you any options when it comes to the performance of the doggone game. I don't understand. The Series S, God dog it, it was a darn mistake from the beginning. It was a mistake. But anyway, God dog it, for the sake of time, I got to move on. We almost an hour in. Oh, shucks. Man, let's go ahead, man. Let's move forward. And we're going to move on into the next email. God darn, this show going to end up being 2 hours plus. But let's get into the next email here. Again, just for context. I'm not trying to ride on X. Yeah, I am. I ain't gonna lie. Yep, I am. I'm trying to ride on these jokers because it's unacceptable. And again, I don't blame Ninja Theory. I blame the Series S for this. And the things that Phil Spencer put into play that says that you have to be able to do this. Baldur's Gate 3 suffered the same thing. He couldn't make it the same way on the X as they did the S. They got the okay from Phil to be able to do something different. I get it. I'm just hoping that eventually they will drop this Series S situation. Then again, they probably won't because more S's have sold than the X. So they're tied to this mother lover. But I think it's just unfair for a talented studio like Ninja Theory. These guys are incredible at what they do, to be tied down to not really be able to shine and show off what they're really capable of doing. But we're going to move into this next email from Mr. Crimson Phoenix. Shout out to you, good brother. Now, the title of his email is, I'm Not Worried. He says, Nintendo is a perfect example of how lesser amounts of third party still works. And the article you referenced doesn't give any context or name the devs who said, quote, why do we bother supporting? I agree. You and Cody are on the same doggone mark. But I will say this, just for context, that same gentleman who was reporting on these guys being upset about why they supported Xbox, this is the same guy that also reported that developers are not looking forward to actually developing for the PlayStation 5 Pro. They said that they haven't done, they haven't pushed the PlayStation 5 to its limit. So why would they really want to support the place. Well, they didn't say why would they want to support it, but they said that they are not really in a rush to support the PlayStation 5 Pro. They don't see the need for it. But when I brought that up, though, my good brother Crimson Phoenix never pushed back on that, though. He never said, well, where's your reference and where's your source about, doggone, these so-called developers pushing back about the PlayStation 5 Pro. Come on, brother. You my guy, though, Crimson. You are my dude, man. I'm just saying, though, my good brother. Let me continue on with your good email here. He says, let me see, it doesn't, do the name. He says, why do we... bother support. Yes. He says, I suspect it's not Game Pass, or at least not all of it. It's more likely the same reason it's been for years. Japanese devs made games that have never sold on a mostly Western audience ecosystem. I mean, I guess for myself, I'm on Xbox for its exclusives, and I'm not interested in JRPGs. I hear you on that. Not traditional JRPGs. I 100% agree with you with that. I do not want to do turn-based. Not my thing. He says, and if Nintendo can survive on its first party, surely Xbox can too. I 1,000% agree. Matter of fact, during that episode, I said that Xbox may become just like Nintendo, but having to rely on their first party in order to get them through. And God, dog, they have a stacked deck of kings, queens, jacks, whatever the best cards are for card playing. I'm not a card player, so I don't know, but they have a full deck of different studios that they can go to actually get that done and never have to go to third party. They got two of the biggest third party developers, or I should say publishers, in the gaming industry underneath their belt. So you are 1,000,000% correct. They don't need to necessarily have to hang their hat on third party, even though, I mean, look, I know they want GTA. I don't think they're going to have a problem getting that. I know they want Madden, FIFA, all of the staples, Assassin's Creed, and other games that will be releasing. But if they had to go it alone, if it was a Dreamcast situation where they just had no third party support, Xbox would be just fine to a degree of supporting themselves. I really think they would be okay, at least for a couple of years. I mean, you need the third party support to a degree, but you're right. Nintendo, they've been striving and doing more than just surviving, with just depending on their first party. So I agree. But then they have classic, amazing characters too, though. Crimson Phoenix. They got amazing, iconic characters as well. Xbox has, Master Chief. They got Marcus Phoenix. They got a couple under their belt. They got Call of Duty. You can't get much more classic than that. But I digress. Let me finish up with your email here, brother. He says we need to stop inserting our own biases and speculation into these clickbait. Why do we have to not do that, brother? He says, hold on. Let me say, we do not need to, hold on. We need to stop inserting our own biases and speculation into these clickbait articles, trying to spread the FUD and console war. I love the console war. I love it, Crimson Phoenix. I love it, brother. It means competition at the end of the day. And that's what we should all strive for these companies to do. Be in total competition with each other so we get the spoils of the war. We get the great stuff. We get the great games. We get the goaties. We get these guys giving us their best work possible because they are trying to beat the other side. I love the console war. I absolutely think it's the best thing in gaming. I mean, of course, if you're not getting too personal, you're not trying to make death threats, that stuff is way out of my wheelhouse. I don't take it that seriously. But for me, the console war, when a person says that to me, I look at that as competition. Nothing more, nothing less. But these articles that come up, though, Crimson Phoenix, I think it's good that people cover them because, again, the thing is if people stay silent, they don't say anything, there is no change. We saw that from the different articles that were coming out talking about Starfield was going to PlayStation. All of these other games are going over to PlayStation and Nintendo. It forced Phil Spencer and his team to come out earlier than they wanted to, than they intended on, to come out there and try to calm the flames down. So when people say, you shouldn't be worried about what these multi-billion-dollar companies are doing, or you can't do any change, or you can't make anything, you can't affect anything from happening, I say that's bull. That's actually bull crap. I don't believe that, because at the end of the day, what people don't understand is we're the boss. We're the bosses of these doggone multi-billion-dollar companies. If we're not buying anything that they're selling, guess what? They go bankrupt. And if they go bankrupt, then what are they? They're broke and they're out of business. We control these jokers, man. They don't control us. We give them our hard-earned money. They don't just come to our house. They're not like the government. They just take it out of your check before you actually get your full check. You got to hand your money over to them. So when people say that they don't believe that they can make a change or it doesn't matter, these companies are operating on a whole nother level and there's nothing that we can do or say. It's one thing about corporations that all of them have in common. Once that bottom line, once the money stops coming in, once they stop seeing that money, they always change. They always switch it around because they're always vying to get our money. That is the point of the corporation. They need us to give them money so they stay in business. And if we don't like what they're doing, we don't like what they're saying, and we stop giving them our money, then they will make change. Yeah, it may take some time. It may take a little bit of digging, but eventually you let that bottom line get to the point where it's really in danger, they will change their tune. I guarantee it, because none of these companies are in the business of going out of business. But let me continue with your email, brother. He says, I do enjoy the drama as it unfolds, but take it all with a mustard seed of truth. My bad. God dirty. This guy always using my words against me. Oh, man. He says, I can make up my own mind. And I won't ever let someone tell me what to think. Nuff said. I couldn't agree more with you, Crimson. Fantastic email, brother. This was fantastic. I definitely love reading your emails. Always really, really appreciate it when you and Cody and any of the other listeners tune in, and not just tune in, but actually write in. Interact with me. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me what you feel about a subject. I really, truly, truly appreciate it. Matter of fact, shout out to you, Crimson Phoenix, and shout out to you, Cody Clark. I really appreciate y'all, man. Man, I appreciate y'all. You got me all heated over here, brother. God damn. Got me passionate over here. Oh, man. So we are at 1 hour and 7 minutes, and I got to be to work at doggone 10 o'clock. I got to be leaving out of here. So we want to move on to the next story that we have here. God, dog, I see why I might have stopped reading the emails during the regular podcast. That's the thing, though, man. Whenever you guys write, and I never want to just go past the email and just gradually, just read it, kind of skim through it. No, you took the time out to write in. I want you to know that I appreciate it. So I want to spend some time, on your email. So again, Crimson Phoenix and Cody Clark, I humbly and truly, truly thank you guys again for your emails. It's just fantastic hearing from y'all. But we're going to move into the next story, and man, we might be here 2 hours. I don't even know. But this next story, I actually got it from thegamer.com. So according to Jeff Grubb, the Knights of the Old Republic remake that's being developed by Saber Interactive that was once a PlayStation exclusive, PlayStation now wants nothing to do with. Now, Jeff said on Twitter, quote, my understanding is that Sony wants nothing to do with it anymore, which is why I thought it was dead. Obviously, though, Saber still seems very determined, and I have a lot of trust in Saber. End of quote. Now, even though it may appear that Sony wants nothing to do with the project, allegedly, Saber Interactive CEO Matthew Karch is feeling pretty confident about the game's progress by telling IGN that the game is, quote, alive and well, end of quote. Now, to me, thinking of Knights of the Old Republic remake, this was another situation at the time when we saw this on PlayStation stage, that virtual stage. This was that same year where Wolverine got shown off. It was an amazing showcase. They really did their thing. This was when Stellar Blade was first shown off. It was called Project Eve at that time. And when everybody saw this Knights of the Old Republic remake, we were sitting there. Some of us were stunned. And we weren't stunned because it was a remake. Yeah, that was part of it. But we were also, some of us were stunned like, what the world is this doing on PlayStation? Xbox should have this. This was the platform it originally came out on. Why isn't this on Xbox? I ain't gonna say everybody, that's doing too much, but so many people that were from that original Xbox era, we were sitting there like, wow, this was a golden opportunity for you to be able to pick this up and get your fan base so excited about revisiting a game that was beloved by millions of Xbox fans of the original Xbox. So to me, since allegedly PlayStation doesn't want anything to do with this, since they want to move this to the rear end and act like it never happened, kind of push it out of their life, I say that Microsoft, this is the perfect time. Xbox, this is the best time to swoop in and take this for your own. Make this an Xbox exclusive. People would go wild, absolutely wild. Phil Spencer put that stuff to the side. Exclusives aren't good for anybody, anything like that. PlayStation and Nintendo are not playing by your rules, brother. They are not playing by your rules. They are flanking. They got camouflage on. They are not out here on the battlefield shooting in a straight line waiting for you to fire back. No, these guys are out here really playing for keeps. So to me, again, if you are looking for that game to really galvanize the Xbox fan base, pick this up. Get it. It's for, I ain't saying it's for sale, but since PlayStation no longer wants anything to do with it, holler at Saber Interactive. Tell them, look, we'll throw you a couple of racks or whatever to get this thing on our platform. We'll pay you for it. Exclusivity forever. How long? Don't make it 3 or 6 months, Phil. Make it at least like a year or two. You know, get it on your platform and just take it from there. Please, Phil. I really hope that this is the situation at hand. It's like, man, this is the perfect opportunity to pick this up and bring it home. Bring it home where it should be. PlayStation should have never had the chance to get this. And now that it's up for grabs, grab it. Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, Sarah Bond, go out there and talk to Saber Interactive and grab this for yourself. And bring it to the Xbox brand. Could you imagine what Knights of the Old Republic would look like on a Series X? I ain't talking about that S, but the Series X. God, dog, it would be incredible. At least in my mind, I'm thinking it would be absolutely just pick it up, guy dog. Just pick it the heck up. Xbox, do what you got to do to make that happen. Let's go ahead and let's jump back and to some more big Xbox news, because this story I got from GameSpot. So, according to a new report, Microsoft will have their summer showcase on Sunday, June the 9th. And this event will reportedly include the announcement. Oh, this is exciting. I can't even lie. is going to reportedly include the announcement of the next Gears Award game. God, dog. Man, shucks. Oh, man. I'm going to tell you, listen, I know Gears of War 5 got a lot of flack. People didn't like it. They thought they went into a crazy direction people couldn't get with. At its core, I enjoyed the heck out of Gears 5. I thought it was a great game. I enjoyed the story, the twist at the end. The graphics looked great. That gameplay was really good. The voice acting, of course, was on point. I thought it was a solid game. I mean, I understand that skip, I forget what you call it, the thing you used to go around on, to get to certain areas. Some people didn't really like that too much. To me, it wasn't that bad, but I could understand, where people were coming from. They were trying to do something a little different, semi-open world, I guess. It was okay. It was okay, that part of it. But overall, I was a fan of the game. So talking about Gear 6 possibly being here at this show, talking about them running it on Unreal Engine 5. Oh, wait. And then just talking about Gears as a whole. We've been hearing for a long time that this Marcus Phoenix collection is supposed to be a thing. Could that show up? Could we be getting Gears 1, 2, and 3 remade, complete remakes in Unreal Engine 5? That would be phenomenal. That would be absolutely awesome. Now, my thing is, if they are, cause I just, and y'all gotta hear me out on this. I can't wrap my head around them actually making it a all-in-one collection. Gears 1, 2, and 3. If they've completely remade them, they're remakes done in Unreal Engine 5. I don't know if they make that a 3-for-1 type of deal. I think if they're going to do anything, they possibly would sell them separately, or if they were to do it, that price tag, it couldn't be $70, could it? It couldn't be. You're getting complete remakes, 3 of them for $70. I just don't see that happening. For me, I would pick each one up individually. That would be fine. Because to me, if you did the work and it's an Unreal Engine 5, y'all completely rehauled everything, and you can see the difference, then I will pay you for that. That is a fair trade. But for people thinking that all 3 of these games are going to be included in one package for the price of one game, I just don't see that happening. I don't think so. I don't know what you guys think. You guys are always welcome to call in or email the show, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But outside of Gears news, allegedly being at this show, additionally, it's rumored that the new Call of Duty will be announced at this event, which is rumored to be a Black Ops title and will take place in part during the Gulf War. And the game will feature open world missions. That is interesting. Now, I would be sitting here lying to you guys through my teeth if I told you that I've been up to date playing all of the Call of Duties. I have not. I haven't played Call of Duty in a good 4 or 5 years. It's been a while. So I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm super excited about this Call of Duty, like I'm going to pick it up on day one or anything like that. No, I am not. I mean, maybe sometime down the line, possibly. But the one good thing about Call of Duty now is it's in Game Pass day and date. So whatever this game is going to be, you'll be able to play it inside of that service. But the thing that does at least perk my ears up a little bit when I read it is the fact that the game is going to not only have open world missions, but it's going to be taking place in part during the Gulf War, which I'm like, whoa, now that's a war that, I was alive when it actually happened. Many of us, probably all of us that are listening to this right now, were alive during that time, during the Gulf War. So to actually have a war that I actually was alive when it happened, that'll be interesting to see how that actually plays out. How close to home will they make some of the story, or the missions that happen in that time period? How are they going to handle it, for today's time? Like, how deep are they going to get? Are they going to, get into the government perspective of things or things of that nature? So those two things really stand out to me. I'm really excited, though, for this showcase. I am. I'm looking forward to seeing more Fable, looking forward to seeing Perfect Dark, to see how the progress has been coming along with that. I want to know if the game Collateral, what's going on with that? Is that still in development? Along with, of course, Gears, whatever has to do with that, as long as it's not another Gears pop that they're going to be showing up. God darn, long as it's not that or Gears Tactics, even though I heard some people enjoy Gears Tactics, but not for me. But as long as they're showing off like actual traditional Gears games, I'm excited about that as well. And then all of the other things that the studios have in the works. I mean, we had heard for a little bit of time that I forgot the developer's name. God, dog. But it's a developer that's allegedly working on a new IP underneath Xbox's underneath their studio, one of their studios, but I cannot think of the name of the studio. So anyway, it's a lot of things to look forward to for this show. It's a lot of things that I'm hoping that we see. They could have a action-packed E3 show, man. This thing could be really, really solid, just like it was last year. It's a lot of things that need updates. We need to be updated on. So just from that perspective alone, I'm really, really excited about this. But let's go ahead and let's move on into the next story. Where are we at? 1 hour and 21 minutes. God darn. Okay, this next story I got from GameSpot. So this is a little bit on a side note. Now, the FTC, they denied the ESRB's application for face scan tech without prejudice, meaning they can apply again in the future. So the ESRB, what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it so you have to do a face scan in order to verify your age. And this tech is being developed by the digital identity firm. Their name is Yoti. It's spelled Y-O-T-I. Now, the tech is intended to create a new method for obtaining parental consent under the Children's Online Privacy Protection Rule, COPA. It's called the COPA rule, which, man, let's look that up. I don't know what COPA is. Let's see what that means. Let's see. Let's look that up real quick. Give me 1 second. I'm looking it up now. All right. What is the COPA rule? It's called, Children's Online. Okay. All right. Says, all right, what is the purpose of the COPA rule? It says the primary goal of COPA is to place parents in control over what information is collected from their young children online. Gotcha. So yeah, just protecting the youth and making sure that the parents are aware of what's going on when it comes to these, these minor children. So again, this has been denied for now, but they will be able to come back at a later date to be able to try to get this implemented into the not the ecosystem per se, but get this law passed. So this is interesting that we could be in a time not too long in the future, a couple of years from now, where if a kid, and if hopefully I'm understanding this correctly, but if a kid does want to partake in a certain match, whether it's online or maybe even a game that may be 17 plus, a game that a minor isn't supposed to be playing, they're trying to make it so in order for that to happen, they got to scan their face. Once they scan their face, I guess, once they see that they're not the age that they're supposed to be or age appropriate for the game, then they have to make sure that the parent is okay with it, give consent, and then, the kid will be able to move forward with whatever game he or she is trying to play. This is something, man. This is some real Minority Report type stuff right here, that we will possibly eventually get to the point where this will become the norm. I guess this will be good for kids, that aren't supposed to be playing these M-rated games without their parents knowing that they're actually M-rated, because it kind of trips me out a little bit with, some people that don't follow the industry or are into gaming like we are, that it's still this stigma around gaming that is still something that is just for kids. It still trips me out to this day, where I'm like, no, some of these games have nudity. They got a ton of cursing in it. It's blood, it's gore, it's guts being shown, people's heads getting, blown off, and all of this kind of stuff. This stuff is not for kids only, so it trips me out. So with this being the case, possibly some of these kids, it's not going to be good for the kid that's 13, 14 wanting to play GTA 6. It ain't going to work out in his favor too well. But for the parent that truly wants to not have their kid be exposed to that kind of stuff, I think this could be a really cool practice, a good practice, when it comes to those things. Or I'm sure when it comes to games that have some light notes of gambling to them, or, having to get cards or something like that to put into it, putting up virtual currency to actually bet, or things of that nature. I know that they're definitely cracking down on that quite a bit. So this kind of tool, this face scan tool that ESRB is trying to implement into the gaming landscape, it could definitely be a positive thing. But we'll see what happens with this in the future. Let's go ahead and let's move on in to the next story. And I actually got this story from Metro. Now, Jeff Keighley's Summerfest is confirmed for June 7th. But another event happening next month in May, according to Jeff Grubb, is a PlayStation event. So let's pause right there just for a second. Now, Jeff Keighley, yeah. Summerfest, June 7th. Jeff, my man, Jeff. Now, I will say, his Game Awards, golly, that thing has improved 10 times over. Let's say 5 times. I'll be overdoing it sometime, but he's had a really good show for a few years now. Very consistent, at least over the last 3 years. I think he's had a fantastic show when it comes to the Game Awards. I know some people, they got upset when he had people rushing him off of the stage, not getting their award or having the time to speak and thank everybody for the award that they got. But Jeff said that he's going to work on that. He's going to tweak it, and I believe he will, but overall, he's shown nothing but consistent improvement with that show. So when it comes to Summerfest, looking at his track record, I have to believe that the same thing will happen for Summerfest. He'll, it'll keep getting better with time, because the last Summerfest, I thought it was okay. It wasn't bad. It wasn't the worst thing. No, I'm not going to put that on him, but it could have been some improvement there. So again, looking at his track record, I'm hoping that on June 7th, we will see that improvement with the Summerfest that will be happening. But what I want to concentrate on now is, again, next month in May, according to Jeff Grubb, is a PlayStation event. Now, this is the thing. What the event will be, it isn't quite as clear. Now, it could be a state of play event where a few games might be shown, or it could be a showcase, which, going off of previous history, last year on May 2nd, PlayStation had their PlayStation Showcase event. So, for now, we'll have to wait and see. They would definitely have a chance to show off a lot of things. I mean, like Ghost of Tsushima 2, there are things, different rumors that are coming up about that, possibly being at one of PlayStation shows coming up. The new Naughty Dog project, it's already being reported that Naughty Dog is not working on The Last of Us Part 3 right now, but it is a new IP. This isn't new information, but it has been confirmed that they're not working on, what did I just say? The Last of Us, but a new IP, which is very, 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 very interesting and exciting because that could be shown off as well. Then we have the PlayStation 5 Pro that could be shown off if this is a showcase. So it's so much to look forward to if this show ends up being a showcase and not just a state of play. I mean, seeing the difference with the PlayStation 5 Pro, looking at the games that, like I said, Insomniac Games, if they may show off, I don't know, a trailer or a bit of a sneak peek at what the new Venom game is going to look like, because we know those guys over at Insomniac, nobody works as fast as they do, man. Shout out to them. Shout out to them. God, dog. Insomniac, their speed is outrageous. Good grief. So we got so many different developers to look forward to. We know that their games, none of them are coming out first party until at least March of next year. So this could give us like a roadmap of what these guys are working on. We know that Cory Barlog, he's in the lab. He's working on something new. So this showcase could really, really be amazing with so many announcements yet to be announced, officially. So hopefully this happens. I'm hoping for a showcase and not just a state of play. I mean, a state of play, it'll be okay, but we all with the big guns right now. We want the bazookas. We want the machine guns out there. We want the real zing. The stuff that's really, exciting that we want to know about. Updates on different games. So hopefully they'll come out there and that will be the show. But we won't find that out until PlayStation officially lets us know what this show will be, allegedly, in May. Let's go ahead and let's get into the next story that I actually got from IGN. So in unexpected news, Ubisoft will be unveiling a story trailer for Star Wars Outlaws this Tuesday on April 9th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 9 a.m. Pacific Time. God damn. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Goodness gracious. Man, I saw this. I'm still excited. Just a couple of days away from actually getting the story trailer, which to me makes me wonder and think even harder that this Star Wars Outlaws has to be coming out soon. The release date has to be around the corner. I'm thinking it's going to be in the summer. I mean, we saw that from other reports last week, the game actually got rated in Brazil as well. That's like 3 different territories, 3 different places that the game has gotten its rating from. Everything just leads up to this game being released very, very soon. Now, the thing is about this trailer, no details have been given on what portion of the story the trailer will concentrate on. But again, I can't wait to see what it will be. This is exciting. Man, I'm telling you, I told y'all this is my most anticipated game of this year. It's the first open world Star Wars game that has been made. We're talking about going into outer space, landing on planets, doggone having bounties on your head, people trying to get you, you trying to get other people, breaking the law. This is gonna be exciting. I'm just hoping. The one thing that I'm hoping, God, dog, Ubisoft, please, please, please do not have catfished us again. That is the only thing I'm hoping. Because when I saw that game at that Ubisoft Direct or Forward last year over the summer, Man, I darn near fell out my chair. I'm dead serious. I jumped up out of my chair. I couldn't believe it. I was sitting there and I'm like, no darn way, that's the real graphics on this. Ain't no darn way. As that demo progressed, I said, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I wanted from Star Wars, and I didn't even know it was what I wanted. I'm telling you, I just really hope, golly, you know how crushed I will be if this game does not toe the mark that I'm hoping it will. Oh my goodness. My gaming soul is gonna be hurt. It's gonna be extremely hurt, but I have high hopes. The team that is working on this, they have a really good track record. They seem to be taking the lore of Star Wars very, very seriously. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this actually takes place before the first movies were even made. Hold on. I don't want to give y'all false information. Let me see. When does Star Wars Outlaws take place?
According to TechRadar, Star Wars Outlaws takes place between the events of Star Wars, Episode 5 The Empire Strikes Back and Star Wars, Episode 6 Return of the Jedi, meaning the Galactic Empire will play a pretty significant part in the narrative.
Oh, shucks. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I mean, I truly pumped up about this game. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Episode 5 and 6, let me see, The Empire Strikes Back. Is that 2 and 3? I'm not sure. I'm not like huge into the Star Wars movie lore as much, but is that 2 and 3, if I'm not mistaken? So it's going to take place, I guess, a little after the first movie, if I have it in the right order. But y'all let me know though. But anyway, Tuesday, be on the lookout. They're going to be showing off this trailer. Again, 12 o'clock if you're on my time, Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. if you're on the West Coast. But let's go ahead and let's get into our final story, which I actually got from Windows Central. So according to emails received by Windows Central, confirmed by Microsoft as genuine, Xbox President Sarah Bond recently briefed her team on various topics. In the email, Sarah Bond reiterated Microsoft's plans to build new Xbox hardware focused on delivering, quote, shucks, the biggest technical leap ever in a generation, end of quote. Whoa. I gotta pause right there for a second. God, dog. This is the thing, man. Shoot, I want to be excited about the next Xbox, but I just can't in good. I can't in how can I say this? In good conscience, I can't get excited about this. I mean, this is the same company that said the Xbox Series X is gonna eat monsters for breakfast. This joke ain't ate a darn thing yet. I mean, it's the world's most powerful console, all of the buzzwords that you want to hear and you want to believe, but they have yet to show off what this magnificent beast is able to do. So when they say that they're doing this technical leap and the biggest technical leap ever in a generation, I look at that and I say, man, this is filler. I don't believe this. I don't know if y'all do, but I darn sure don't. But I digress. Let's get back into what else was said over these emails. Now, interestingly enough, it was also reported that Sarah Bond has revealed that Microsoft has set up a dedicated team to future-proof our digital Xbox libraries across future hardware paradigms to further, quote, build on Xbox's strong history of delivering backward compatibility. That is a plus. That's all right. That's all right there. That's good. That is fantastic. That's great news, because that says, basically if anybody was worried about their digital library not being preserved, this should definitely put you at ease. This is a great thing that Sarah Bond is going to get her team on that, to work on that, to make sure that these games that are digital are preserved. Your digital libraries. People spend hundreds upon hundreds of dollars. I have over, I think, close to 50 games digitally, which really isn't a lot. Some people have hundreds. I got about 50. No. I got about like 67, 60. I'm probably teetering closer to 70 than 50. I'm probably in the 60 something range, but that's still not a lot compared to what other people have. As far as physical, I probably got about maybe 30, so maybe about 100 games close to, total. But just the fact that Sarah Bond, she's going to have a team working on this to make sure that your digital library is safe. It's going to travel with you with the paradigms and all of that stuff. That is fantastic news. I definitely applaud that. That is a great, great move. I'm very happy about that too, because again, I know it doesn't sound like it. I know you guys probably don't believe me, but I truly am an Xbox fan. I just want them to do better. I want them to do things that appeal to me. And this right here, this is a great move. This is something I love to see. I'm glad that Sarah Bond has a team on it, so that I know that the money that I spent on this digital library is not just going to go by the wayside and I'm not going to be able to access it sometime in the future. But anyway, that is the end of the gaming news this week, which leads us into the final section of the podcast, because there is not going to be any video game theater this week. We almost 2 hours in on this episode, but let's go ahead and let's get to it. So you guys already saw the question at the top of the show, and I appreciate you guys for being here, and let's go over it together officially. So what grade would you give Phil Spencer? Now, this is the thing. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because Phil Spencer, he took over Xbox on March 31st, 2014. Here we are. We are at April the 7th, 2024. A little over 10 years later that Phil Spencer has taken over the Xbox brand. He celebrated 10 years at the helm, at the leadership role. To me, if I was to give Phil Spencer a grade of what he has done over the last decade, I would have to give this guy like a D. Yeah. I got to give him a D. The reason why I give him a D, I give him a D plus, actually. How about that? I give him a D plus. I'll tell you why in just a second. I got to get me a sip of water. Oh man, I needed that. I give Phil Spencer a D plus because if you look at the Xbox brand when he took it over, it was a couple of things that needed to be straightened out, but it was still selling. They were getting third-party deals. They had Sunset Overdrive. They had Rise, Son of Rome. They had the Capcom zombie game. I bought it up earlier. Dead Rising, I believe it was called. They had Titanfall. They had games that were coming out exclusively to the platform. Games that you could look to and say, oh, I got to buy Xbox in order to play that. Oh, I gotta get in that ecosystem if I want to get on that game. As the years have gone by, the third-party exclusives have become less and less. The output of new games on a consistent basis has become less and less. I mean, we had Quantum Break when that came out. That game graphically, I said, oh yeah, I see what the Xbox One is doing. This is dope. That game came out, and it was such a long period of time before Xbox ever got a new game that really stood out like Quantum Break. And then now, you look at the Xbox brand now, it's selling less than it did during the Xbox One era. You have it on TVs, you have it on tablets, you have it on phones, soon to be handhelds, or some handhelds already have some kind of version of Game Pass, even though it might not officially be licensed by Xbox. So the brand to me has taken a tremendous step backwards. Now, granted, Phil Spencer, he's bought all of these teams. He has Ninja Theory. He has Activision. He has Obsidian. I mean, God, dog, he got the Fallout crew. He got doggone Bethesda over there. Incredible talent. But what is he doing with the talent? Now we get to the point where you don't know what game is going to stay on Xbox. Now it's to the point where first-party games are literally going over to PlayStation, going over to Nintendo, and you don't know where it's going to end. You don't know if Senua's Saga is going over to PlayStation. It's not a guarantee that Starfield is not going over to PlayStation. Why? Because Phil Spencer has said he can't commit to not saying what will go over to PlayStation and what won't. So to me, now you've made the brand less relevant, because now the talk is going to be, oh, when Blade comes out, how soon is it going to be coming to PlayStation? You set that precedent, Phil. Phil Spencer sat there and said in an interview that they need to do better with their messaging about, games going to other platforms, and how he doesn't want that to be the message. He doesn't want people to ask, well, when is this game coming to PlayStation, or is this game exclusive just to Xbox? But yet then a few short years later, he is the same one that's saying, well, these games have to go over to PlayStation in order to pretty much keep Xbox afloat. What the world? What is this? So yeah, he's got these different acquisitions, these games that could be exclusive to the Xbox brand, but they're not necessarily locked down to the Xbox. Maybe for the first year, maybe the first 6 months, maybe even 2 years. But eventually, all of the games that should be exclusives to the Xbox brand just may go over to the PlayStation. And you can't say that about Nintendo, and you can't say that about PlayStation. Are their games going to show up on Xbox? Who knows in the future? I mean, you can never say never, but for at least the early foreseeable future, next 2 or 3 years or so, you don't have those questions. Now, PC is a different matter when it comes to PlayStation, but even PC still has to wait. That time window keeps getting smaller and smaller, but as it stands right now, even PC has to still wait. So for me, again, I give Phil Spencer a D+. I give him the plus because he got all of these teams. He got these studios. But again, they're not really strengthening the Xbox brand because, again, we don't know what games are going to be exclusive and which are not. He set that precedent. The Xbox brand is in the worst situation and worst position we have ever seen it in. You're declining 40 and 50% in some areas. You got developers out there saying that they don't know why they supported your brand. I understand it. We don't have names. We don't know who they are. We don't know these constituents or whoever these suspects may be. But the word is out there that is the talk. So yeah, I give him a D+. I would love to know you guys' opinion on where you stand with Phil Spencer. What grade would you give him? If you do want to be a part of the conversation, you can do it two different ways. You can either call in at 443-380-0281 and let your voice literally be heard. Or you can email the show, and the email address is the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. I was your host, Kiaun Mitchell, and again, I want to thank you guys for being here. And again, I want to shout out to Cody Clark and Crimson Phoenix for their emails. Thank y'all. Now, before we finally wrap this thing up and put that bow on it, always remember one thing. It is not about the consoles. It is about the games. So until next week, or possibly Wednesday, because I learned a lesson. Those emails, they definitely, they are something. They are something. They can definitely make the length of the show go a little longer. But we may get back to the feedback section. We may have to do that. So we might be possibly back on Wednesday. It just depends on if you guys write in or not. But until then, if I don't see you guys Wednesday, we'll be back at it Sunday. But until then, you guys take care. Be safe out there. Bye-bye.